Today we're going to be looking at misgendering, something which the more militant members of the TQ non-binary cult say is actually a hate crime. Of course that's nonsense. When they say misgendering, usually it means accurately gendering. When someone views another person and chooses to use the truth coming into their own eyes over that person's feelings. Because I could say I identify as a black lesbian, clearly that isn't what I am. So today we're going to meet a number of people, beginning with this.
My pronouns aren't preferred, they are mandatory. Do not purposefully misgender trans people. You do not get to decide how someone identifies. My pronouns aren't preferred, they are mandatory.
Before we even get into what's going on there, the irony for me is the song that's being ripped off is, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Because something we know about many members of the TQ cult is they are deeply unhappy. It's why they're deleting themselves in such huge numbers. Someone who is over the moon doesn't tie a rope to the ceiling and step off a chair to dance the hemp fandango. Now sadly for many members of the cult, they'll either have childhood trauma or an undiagnosed serious mental health problem. And they get brainwashed. They're told, if you change gender, something which human beings cannot do, all will be fine. And peak suicidality actually comes 5 years after medical transition. Because after all the operations, that underlying problem is still there. They're still having the dark thoughts, but now they're heavily in debt and they've been mutilated. Now the serious bit is out of the way. What the fuck is going on there? What is that young woman, because that's what she is, whether she likes it or not, thinking? At some point she will have been stood in front of the mirror with her contact lenses, her plastic devil's horn and her drawn on goatee beard and thought, yes, now people will take me seriously. At best she looks like she could pick up maybe 6th place at a really crap cosplay convention, or appear as an extra in a budgetless horror film directed by a first year media studies student. And shockingly, that's the most sane person we're going to see in this video aside from myself. I believe a few days ago it was Thanksgiving over in the USA. Why is being physically hideous such a big part of being trans or non-binary? And to go out of her way, because again that is a female, to piss off the rest of her family at Thanksgiving. Do we think around the dinner table her parents, well no, not her parents, her mother, clearly that's someone who's grown up without a father figure. Her mother said, today I'm thankful for my morbidly obese, ugly, mentally retarded offspring. And something we see a lot from members of the TQ non-binary cult is a double standard. The desire to be respected and validated, but not to pay the same courtesy to anyone else. The next clip I'm going to call 3 out of 10 for effort.
Good morning, beautiful humans. Abby here. Looking great and ready to go get misgendered probably like 15 times today. It'll be fine. Y'all have the best day. Bye.
So that was Abby, who gets misgendered 15 times a day. I'm guessing that man, because again that's what he is, isn't being misgendered. He's getting referred to as he. Because the rest of us don't use this Orwellian doublethink to see the world. And what strikes me is that trans woman thinks that wearing false nails and lipstick is enough. It shows the utter disrespect and contempt so many trans women have for actual females. Like being a woman is just wearing a fucking costume. And how are we meant to take Abby seriously as a trans woman? Where's the greasy, unkempt hair? The terrible facial piercings and the makeup that looks like it was applied by a clown? A drunk clown? At night on a roller coaster who's having a seizure? Well, that's coming up next.
Just because I had a bit of a jarring experience here. I went into the bank. I was trying to change my name on my account, which apparently I can't do because my ex and I still have a joint account, so my ex needs to be present so I can change my name and it reflects on both accounts. Regardless of that, the girl who was doing it had a question, and she calls her coworker over like, well, he's trying to change his name on his account, and I'm like, she kind of like looks at me a little bit and is like, oh, I'm sorry, and just like writes it off. But like, I'm just like, you read both names. Like, she had both my IDs and my legal name change paperwork in front of her. So, you know what my name's going to. Number 2, I look and sound like this. I know I'm 6 feet tall, but girl, come on. I'm wearing a dress. I am wearing a dress.
The person I feel most sorry for in that story is the woman working at the bank. She sat there, doing her job, not bothering anyone, and that customer walks in. And despite wearing a dress, she hears that voice and sees that face, and her brain goes, that's a man. Because it is a man. Admittedly, a very disturbed man. A man who shouldn't be allowed near sharp objects. A man who, 150 years ago, people would have paid good money to look at. A man who's so distressed at being called he that he has to run off and record a TikTok. But the most shocking thing is that creature we just witnessed has an ex. Someone was in a relationship with that. And I've cut the video short, but later on he bangs on about, what can I do not to be misgendered? Well, admit you're a man, mate, and you won't have a problem. And as for that makeup, unless you're a new romantic and 1983 has come round again, it doesn't work for anyone. And I've saved the worst for last. When you watch this video clip, don't just look at the people in it, look at the room they're recording in.
How would you know? As if you could ever sleep with a fabulous woman like me. But if you want independent third-party verification, here's my wife. I was definitely not a woman.
Bullshit. I'm sorry, but she's more of a woman than I actually am. And I can sleep with her every night, so.
Nice try.
I wouldn't keep an animal in that sort of squalor. I'm going to go out on a limb and guess they're probably not working. They're living on welfare, what in the UK we would refer to as dole dossers. Let's start with the wife, because she's a looker. How gaslit has she been to say that the man she's married to is now a woman? Or maybe it's just been beaten into her, because as we know, many trans women have no problem meting out violence towards actual women. And as for the male there, to say he's actually a woman, mate, you barely pass as fucking human. So, the trans woman's hairline. If I were to grow out what hair I have left, and I'm quite open to saying I'm bald, my hairline would be further forward than his. And the idea that we're meant to find that person attractive. I can guarantee you could ply me with Viagra for a month, and if that thing approached me, I would be limper than a windsock at an airport on a windless day. Imagine, if you will, actually being in a relationship with that thing. The first time you went to introduce your new trans girlfriend, Trevor, to your friends at the pub. Maybe you'd get there early and say, my new girlfriend will be here soon. She looks like a famous actress, Linda Blair in The Exorcist. In fact, when it comes to using protection, you wouldn't want condoms, you take holy water and a crucifix. So that was misgendering. Can we agree that it isn't a hate crime? Not playing along with someone's delusion? In fact, I would have thought it's a good thing in the long term, not to reinforce someone's mental health problems. As ever, thanks for watching.